Next up at UFC Vegas 68, we have the first of 4 road to the UFC tournament final fights.
Oh my God.
This is what? Because I said tournament and not tournament. This tournament is made up of many people basically trying to work their way into the UFC. Very simple concept. Very simple concept. All lighter weight classes. All 4 of these fights are very, very exciting. And the first of the 4 is Hyun Sung Park taking on Seung Guk Choi. Hyun Sung Park is 7-0 overall. He has 6 stoppage wins in his career, and he's taking on Seung Guk Choi, 6-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He's coming off that decision win over.
You know what's funny is look what I just put in the chat. Someone asked if they wrote in Italian, would you understand it? Literally, as I sent that, you stumbled over your word. I said, Angelo barely knows how to pronounce English words, let alone Italian. Right?
I don't. I understand Italian because my mother's an immigrant.
Oh no, you don't.
Okay, but I don't.
What does this
mean? Where I'm from, how you doing? Down here, just shotgun noise. Anyway, first fight, flyweight, tournament final. And we've got a good-sized favorite here, but that line is moving. Hyun Sung Park opened as a -200 favorite. He's now sitting at -180. He's a slick grappler. He has one single game plan. Come forward, find the opening, get it to the ground. He is a finisher. He snatches things up very quickly on the ground. And if you watch his last fight, he just plots forward slowly, throws almost nothing, and then as soon as he has his chance, he will just pressure, get a takedown, and immediately work towards a submission. Seung Guk Choi is pretty well-rounded. He's got a loose, technical striking style. He's constantly moving, constantly managing range. He does not have like full-blown one-punch power, but he's technical, and he can wear you down on the feet. He does a very good job game planning. If you watch his 2 road to the UFC fights, they're very different. He had a striking showcase in one, a grappling showcase in another. I think this fight should be much closer than these odds, and there's going to be a lot of people in for a wild ride with these 4 fights. None of them are in the UFC. Lighter guys are always just like wild in general. There's huge experience gaps in these 4 fights. Not this one, but in some of these fights. I would not be parlaying a lot of these people. I'd be very careful with these 4 fights because there's some stuff going on here. And I like Choi. Right out of the gate, I like the plus 155 underdog in this matchup. Park's a solid grappler, but he has trouble on his feet. And Choi is just the overall more well-rounded fighter. And I got to go with the more well-rounded fighter in this fight. He can be taken down. He can be held down. But he's got a 90% takedown defense so far. And, hopefully that works for him. So I like Choi here. Plus 155 underdog to open up this tournament final. What do you think?
Yeah, that's actually not a bad pick. I don't think at all, because I have Park in this, but it's probably my least of like my favorites. It's probably my least confident favorite, and I agree. I think the odds should be maybe like a minus 135, maybe a minus 140 for Park is kind of how I see this part, because yeah, he is more dangerous, especially on the ground. Once he gets you on the ground, he is an aggressive grappler. He's looking for a finish. He's not just like a lay and pray type of guy. But as you mentioned, on the feet, he does just kind of plot forward. He doesn't really force the takedowns, and sometimes in his fights, it takes a while for him to get a takedown. And one of his last fights, he didn't even get a takedown until he was knocked down. And then he was like, oh no, now I have to wrestle against a guy that was a kind of a pure striker. And Choi's not like necessarily a pure striker. And they keep talking about his right hand, like he's got this powerful right hand. I don't see it. I've never really seen it, especially for like a lightweight guy, as you mentioned in these fights. But they say he's got power. If this is on the feet, I think it's a 50-50 fight on the feet, and Choi might have the power advantage. He's definitely going to have the aggression advantage. He's a very confident fighter. He's one of those guys that, 30 seconds into a fight, he's pointing towards the center. He's in your face. He's taunting you. That could get to Park. I agree. I think this is more of a 50-50 fight. If it's on the feet, I think Choi could have the advantage. Park, if he wants to win, the path is wrestling. We'll see if he can get that done. My pick is Park, but I'm not putting him in parlays, and I'm not putting money on him or anything like that. So I don't hate your pick.
Yeah, this is going to be a weird card for, there's people out there that are a little lazy with their bets, right? They'll just take a couple of huge favorites, put them together, looking for a better payout. And these 4 fights, there's not the place to do that because, there's just so many unknowns. So $8,400 in DraftKings. If Park wins, it could very well be by submission. He's a finish. 6 out of 7 wins are by finish. The dude's a finisher, slick grappler, but Choi's got that great takedown defense. It's a tough card because there's only 12 fights, so there's 24 fighters, and you can only use 6 of them. And the way the math works out, I mean, you're limited to what you can do. So you're gonna need to have some of these people in your lineup. These people, meaning the non-UFC vets in the tournament final. I would prefer Choi in my DraftKings lineup than Park, but I don't think either one of them is a solid play because I think Choi's going to just end up defending takedowns and throwing jabs out for 15 minutes for his side of this.
Yeah, Park at $8,400 honestly is going to be either the best value in DraftKings or the worst because if he comes in and sticks to that wrestling and grappling game plan, gets a hold of him, gets his back, he's definitely a threat for like an early finish if he goes to that game plan. But as we already broke down, if it's on the feet, he could just kind of get walked down and nothing really happens for his side because he is so low volume. So I think he's going to be really, really good or really, really bad. And I agree. I'm hoping it's good.
And this comment from Giallo, taking the under 2.5. I'm not doing that on this fight, but that is solid logic for these 4 tournament finals. Like, I don't think a lot of them are going to go to the scorecards. They're all wild. They're all fast. They all want this contract. They're all like fighting for something huge. Like, this is when you can get some crazy stuff going on.
And this one's plus 190, and I think the odds are probably right on that. But if you're looking for some value because of, like Angelo mentioned, these guys are going to be heated up, in heat, hot and heavy, ready to go, sweating, glistening, smelling good probably.
Saw that coming. Okay. Monkey Knife by Strike Line 65-56, not touching it. But if you want to touch something, go ahead and touch your keyboard and type in WeWantPicks.com. At the top, click Become a Member. It is only $10 a month. It's $10 a month. You can cancel whenever you want. Take a peek. See what's in there. See how good that website is, what we got going on. We just added the line movement tracker. So obviously we have this on the graphic, but it's also a full chart that gets updated, and you can follow those line movements. It's colored green, red, and how it's moving. You can sort by any way you want. Frankly, you can sort by the biggest movers and then take a peek at those lines and hop on if you want. There's a lot going on there. And that's just one of the the other new feature we added is cheat sheets for DraftKings and FanDuel with ownership leverage, which is an entirely new calculation for us on there. There's so much going on. WeOwnPicks.com. At the top, click Become a Member.